And we are live. Hello, welcome to the 30th episode of Talkin Tech, the weekly podcast from MobileTechTalk. I am your host, Dom. Somehow we have made it to 30 episodes, and joining me as always I have Mark and Chris. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So, this week, it's kind of a slow week. A couple of big things have come out, which is pretty much right at the end of this. But yeah, should we just get into it?
I thought that's what we always did.
I mean, we could chat about our week, but it's been pretty shit. So I thought we might as well. Might as well get into the news things. That's probably the most interesting thing that's going to happen on here. So who wants to take this first one?
What? Oh, Apple trying to buy Tidal.
I'll do it then.
Or rumoured
Yeah.
to be buying. Yeah, it's like,
Two services that not many
who
people know.
cares? I mean, like, Apple Music is like utter total shite, and
And it's
Tidal.
already been through a redesign, which is funny.
Mm.
It was shit at
And
launch. It
Tidal-
was redesigned, and it's still shit.
I mean, Tidal, I think, was great before Jay-Z got to it, and they did their relaunch. Did either of you ever watch the event where they relaunched
I did,
Tidal?
and I had like Dead Mouse and people up on stage.
And Madonna, straddling the table for no apparent reason. Because apparently that's what you do when you write your name. You need to, like, mount the table. So, yeah, that was the point where Tidal just... I mean, maybe it's gotten better, but, I mean, it just went... Because I was
They
literally
still have, like,
mid-review.
a streaming plan where it's like 20 quid and you get access to.
Yeah, in theory, before Jay-Z got to it, it was a great system. It seemed really well thought out. It seemed like there was people there who were putting really serious effort into creating, custom playlists and shit. The couple of the things that really stood out for me, one was it was at Easter, and they had this whole Golgotha Revisited playlist, which I thought was fantastic. There was a Diana Krall album that just came out roughly around the same time, and it's an album of remixes. It's remakes. She's covered songs done before, and so they made a playlist which was that album, but all the original songs by the original artists. Shit like that. And then they had the other one which really stood out in my mind was they had a Groundhog Day playlist, which was I've Got You Babe like 20 times.
Wow.
And it was just like, silly, stupid little things like that, which is like, there's real humans making this, and somebody's put some really serious thought into it, and that's what made it really good. And then Jay-Z came along, and the recommendations mid my review dramatically changed. It started recommending shit that I'd never heard of.
He didn't do all that much either. Like at first, he kind of just introduced a lower quality streaming plan to compete with other people. And then
Mostly, he made it all about
slightly
him and his
changed the back
friends.
end stuff.
Mostly, it seemed that he wanted to just make it about him and his friends to push his shit. And it's like, hey, see all the people that like actually are paying for this service? They're not listening to your music, right? They're not, because they're not like 15-year-old girls, right? They're old people who will drop 20 grand on a hi-fi.
Yeah.
And he just didn't seem to understand that. He just started pushing his music, which, I'm sure there's lots of people out there that like the things that he makes, and they're perfectly entitled to like those things. I just don't think they were the people who were buying Tidal.
No, and it makes sense. So,
Jay-Z fans aren't buying Meridian hi-fis.
pardon?
Jay-Z fans are not buying Meridian hi-fis.
I mean, you never know. There might be a Jay-Z fan on the sly.
The only Jay-Z fan that would be buying Meridian hi-fi would be Jay-Z.
Yeah, unlikely.
Yeah, because they're those not cheap.
So Apple rumored to be buying Tidal makes sense because it's two streaming audio services that don't really have much market share. Actually, no, Apple does have market share, but I think it's just mostly people that didn't cancel the 3-month trial.
Yes, I think that was mainly what people were saying. But it's surprising how many people don't cancel after trials, though.
Hmm.
I do myself a Google Now reminder, so when I set it up and I know I have like 3 months,
Oh,
I'll
I'm
set
even quicker
myself a
than that.
reminder a day before it runs out and tell myself to cancel it.
I'm even quicker than that. So take the trial, and then about 10 minutes later, I'll cancel it, so that it just runs up to the end. There and then, I've not got to worry about it. It's the same with Spotify. I got 3 months of premium for the price of one. I just obviously put all the details in to get out 1 month, and then just cancelled it about 5 minutes later.
Wow.
That way, don't have to worry about it. You just know it's not going to bill you again.
Yeah, I guess. But some companies, once you cancel it, will just stop it there and then. So it doesn't always.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason companies, do give these things away, because there's a certain proportion of people that just simply will forget, and that's fine. It's their money. If they want to, throw away, well,
If they want to piss it down the drain, that's fine.
exactly.
So yeah, I see it because Apple buying Tidal is exactly like them buying Beats. Like, it made sense in a weird way, and this also makes sense in a weird way. I don't think anyone thought Apple bought Beats for the headphones. Mostly Apple buying Beats was about the music service, and I can see
No,
them.
it's about the branding and the marketing. I mean, that's what Apple care about, because that's what Apple do better than anyone.
Beats
And
branded earpods.
yeah, that's a brand that they can push.
Yeah, like I said, there's not really much more to say about this. Like I said, it was in the news, and I was like, well, it's weird because, like I said, it's almost a repeat, and you've just replaced Beats with Tidal.
Mm.
It's a relatively, despite not being used by a whole hell of a lot of people like Beats was, it's something that loads of people have kind of heard of, like Beats. Again, even if people don't actively use it, a lot of people seem to know what Tidal is.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it
the
hasn't
whole,
really gone anywhere.
Jay-Z, Madonna, Dead
Beyonce.
Mouse, weird things. Um, you know, they were all big name people, so that got in the news. It did. So people have heard the name. It is a recognizable name. But, I mean, is there any synergies? No. I mean, Apple, gave up caring about audio quality a very long time ago, because they realized that they could skimp on components, and the customers were too stupid. They had no idea what was going on. Apple just said, no, it's good, promise. And I went, okay.
Fair enough.
Eh.
So I don't know how I'm supposed to segue this, so I'm just gonna move on. Speaking about phones, about as good as it's gonna get. Sharp has a new one. So a couple of years ago, I think it was like 2014-ish. Sharp had the Aquos Crystal, which was a phone which on the front had no bezel on 3 out of the 4 edges.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah.
It's
And
just coming back to me.
they've pretty much made a second gen which looks kind of worse.
Oh,
Yeah. So
it's
it's
just
got
like
bigger
Pro.
bezels than the last one did, but still way smaller than everything else.
I tell you what, the back does remind me of.
Yeah.
Just with the
The LED in a different place.
yeah, the LED moved to the side. It does remind me of that.
So yeah, no, it's actually quite technically impressive. So again, it has like negligible amounts of bezels. So this 4.7-inch phone has a footprint nearly identical to the iPhone SE, which is a 4-inch phone.
That's too small.
What, the 4-inch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything below 5 is too small.
The 1080p screen.
I'm sure it's not the first that's been ever said.
So yeah, it's a 4.7-inch 1080p IPS display using Sharp's IGZO technology, which is indium gallium zinc oxide, which again, more efficient, like brighter whites, like blacker blacks, blah blah blah. But interestingly, unlike most displays on mobile, it's not locked at a static 60 Hz or 60 FPS. It goes from 120 Hertz down to 1 Hertz, which is impressive. If only because
that's got to have some fair amount of GPU saving.
It's 808, Snapdragon 808, which.
Oh, I was meaning in terms of power consumption.
Oh no, I think they're doing this in the DSP. I don't think they're doing it on the main processor. So yeah, 4.7-inch 1080p LCD, Snapdragon 808, 3 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of expandable storage, 13 megapixel f1.9 lens, and a 2810 milliampere battery. It's not going to be cheap. I think it's like $436 or
Could they not stuck at
44,800 yuan. Sorry, what was that?
Couldn't they just made it a little bit thicker and stuck a 3,000 in there?
Yeah.
I mean, having a phone with almost no bezels is kind of difficult anyway.
Yeah, if they just widened it, made it thicker slightly, they could have probably squeezed an extra. What's that?
I don't know. I don't know how thick it is. They say it's a similar footprint to an iPhone SE, but they don't say how actually thick it is, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, why don't they just make it slightly thicker?
If I find out, I'll put it in. Huh?
I mean, who really cares how thick it is? I mean, have you ever? When was the last time you encountered a phone and you went, "Oh my god, it's just so thick"? I couldn't. Possibly.
Actually, quite recently, because the proportions of it was completely wrong.
I think I had I did.
It wasn't all that thick, but it was so boxy. It felt so much thicker than it actually was.
Yes, I had that with the first 7 because it was a small screen.
You know what you two need to do? You need to go on eBay and find a P990, right?
Oh, I had one.
Okay, now that was a thick phone.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, would you like to go back to a 13mm thick phone, Mark?
To be honest, actually, in terms of hardware, the P990, I really liked its physical form. I would, if you could make that phone, rip out the internals, so give it some decent modern, a nice screen, higher res, especially the camera crap on the back, stick something fairly decent in there with its real keyboard on there. Yeah, I would be like totally happy to use that.
See, the problem to me is when people say, "Oh, just make it thicker and put more battery in." I'm like, you do realize battery needs weight.
Like,
and it does go up. It does go up quite exponentially.
More. How can
put that in your pocket, then
that?
Man, you two are fucking bullshitters. I can quit this podcast right here. No, the thing is,
stick a 20,000 milliampere battery bank in your pocket and then complain about weight.
I do that. I fucking hate it. Because it's a shit experience for the user. Like, people just think that, like, oh, you just make an extra 3mm thicker and fill it up with battery. It's not even going to be negligible. No, it's going to take that, like, 150-gram phone to, like, 210 grams.
It's
going to add a significant amount of weight.
What's 50 grams when it's at home?
I would like for companies to do that to give us the choice. Or, perhaps, in an ideal world, do you remember the old Ericsson model where they would have batteries that went straight on the back, and you could have either the nice super slim battery, the kind of bigger battery, or you could have the gigantic fucking massive battery.
Yeah,
I don't remember that, but I do remember Lenovo used to do that with like slice batteries for ThinkPads.
There was
if you have a look at like
I'm giving up with you. I'm just going to buy you an Aura phone and that is it. And you can just mod away to your heart's content. You can bitch and moan that Sennheiser hasn't made a DAC for you. You can have as many 3.5mm jacks as you want. Removable batteries, a whole lot.
That's what I was going to say. I remember on some earlier phones, I think I'm talking S3s, and I think there's a couple of others beforehand.
Oh, you're so young, Chris.
Yes, I'm so young. And the one thing I used to like was the fact that you could buy a bigger battery, and because it was a removable battery, you put this bigger battery in, and then they gave you a replacement back. I don't know if anyone ever remembers those. But I know someone, he maxed out his S3 with a huge battery. I can't remember what the capacity of it was. But because he had such a big battery, he left his data on, I think, 2 days and would get a full charge out of it, lasting 2 days. And then when he put the stock one in, he instantly then started whining about how he has no battery.
Yeah, people get used to stuff. It's fine.
But to have that option...
You can get used to carrying around a 20,000 milliamp hour battery in your pocket. That
I'm
doesn't
not
mean
that stupid. I don't carry this in my pocket. What I actually do is there's no available plug socket down by the bed. So I just...
You just need to like do very dangerous DIY electronics and just like hack a cable together from one side of the room to the other. That's the worst that can happen.
I think I've got a spare extension lead, but it's right in the bottom of the cupboard, which is kind of full and I don't want to go in.
Don't worry, Chris, you're not going to fall through to Narnia, it's fine. Alright, speaking... Oh. Were you going to say anything, or can I move on to the Note 7?
I just said I wish.
Yeah. So, another phone with negligible bezels is what is supposed to be the Note 7 anyway. So we've seen even more leaks this week. It's meant to have somewhere between a 5.7 and a 6-inch display. There's rumored to only be an Edge variant this time, so no flat one. Supposed to be going to USB-C. It's also meant to have like an overclocked Exynos 8890, so what's on the S7. I don't think it's meant to have a Snapdragon variant this time.
Really?
Yeah, between 3600 to 4000 milliamp hour battery, the same camera, an iris scanner. It looks like a Galaxy Note.
What I was going to say is the fact it's possibly only coming in an Edge variant is not a problem as long as by looks it is the dual edge, not the single edge.
Oh yeah, no, the single edge was essentially a prototype they sold to the mass market.
I had
just to prove they could manufacture a curved screen at high volume.
Yeah, it was just to say, it was just a media thing.
I was going to say, I had the S6 Edge Plus, and that obviously had the dual edge, and that was quite nice. One thing I did find is in practical terms, it wasn't exactly that useful. All you had was there were shortcuts of contacts, and you had support for 5 apps.
Since the S7 launch, I know that.
Yes.
They did overhaul that quite a lot. Instead of being like a couple of pixels wide, you can now have it set up to like a third of the screen.
Yeah, that was it. That was the only fault I had. I didn't mind it. It was just the way the software was so poorly optimized for it.
Yeah. So like, it looks like a Galaxy Note. I don't really know what I'm meant to say. It looks like a Note
glass
5.
back.
It looks like a Note 5 Edge. Actually, that's it.
Yeah.
The Note 5 Edge.
I thought it was the Note 4 Edge.
I would say, I mean, by the looks of it and the spec of it, the way the notes have always been, is when it comes out, it will be the best phone in the world, except it will be kind of a bit big, and the buttons are the wrong way round.
Yeah. That's it. Oh, it's meant to have USB-C this time as well, because none others have had
It doesn't look like it's got a glass back either.
Oh, no, it will. It's just silver glass. They did it on the...
I hate that. I hate the fact they make these glass backs. Because they are so bloody slippery.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. I hate it. Actually, no, I don't hate it. That's their own opinion, whatever. Like, when people say it makes the phone a lot more fragile, it's like, are you fucking launching your phone across the room?
It doesn't make it more fragile.
It just means you've got to put it in a case.
No, it doesn't. None of my glass-backed phones I've put in a case and they're all in one piece.
Yeah, then you do.
I'm the guy that fucking drops his phone. The worst thing that's happened to my phone is my Nexus 4, which I dropped from about 3 feet. It's got a dent in the chrome on the side.
Yeah, but no, that's one thing I've encountered slightly with the Xperia X is because I can't work out what the back is. It's some kind of.
It's meant to be metal. It's meant to be metal.
It's meant to be metal, but it doesn't grip like normal.
No, it's coated in the same kind of weird shit that the LG G5 had.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It
It can make
feels
it
like
quite slippy.
plasticky paint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, what's it called? Honor have done the same thing with the 5C, but the 5C is a legitimately inexpensive phone, so it's
it does make it
less of an
sometimes.
issue. It's still not nice, but it's less of an issue.
It does sometimes make it a bit slippy. It's not normally too bad, but I have had incidents.
Hashtag D-brand.
Yeah, I was going to say, I did have incidents where it did slide out. I was waiting for someone to make a comment on that.
Nope. Carry on. I'm not making it. It's too low of a blow, and that's also what she said.
That was the comment I was
I
waiting
can't
for.
help myself. This is really a
I was
problem.
waiting for the "that's what she said" comment.
No. Carry on, Chris. Carry
I've
on.
lost my train of thought now.
You have 5 seconds before I move on to the next topic.
I can't remember.
Well then, that was easy. So, talk about phones that aren't actually out yet and have kind of leaked. BlackBerry has reportedly got 3 new... Sorry, I just read the title at the same time. Reportedly got 3 new Android phones coming up. So they are called... Where is it? Neon, Argon, and Mercury. So obviously taking this from the periodic table. They all kind of actually seem pretty cool.
They all sound like prototype, not prototype, what's the word?
I don't know. I'm just having a look at the pictures and
It'll be like code name. It won't be. I don't believe those will be the names they actually launch with.
Oh no, they won't be. No, the Priv was Venice.
Yeah. I mean, why do companies do that? Why do they give like phones such great, names in production, and then when they launch it, they call them something shit?
Because usually the great names can't be trademarked or patented, and plus a lot of great names don't work sequentially when you release a new phone each year.
Yeah,
So,
but if you're picking out random with names anyway, sequentially doesn't make any difference.
well, no, because you've got to make it seem like this is the successor to the other great phone we had. So it's
Yeah,
not
like
it's not
the
just like the
Priv.
Galaxy S. This is.
I mean, I know. Let's name our phone for a contraction for a toilet. Yay!
Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say to you, Mark. I know why they don't do it. So there's 3. So what's it called? Neon is going to be the first to market, so July or August, so very soon. 5.2-inch 1080p touchscreen display without a physical keyboard, which is a first for BlackBerry in a while. I think this is Z10. Snapdragon 617, fucking hate it. 3 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of storage. 2,610 mAh battery, 13 megapixel rear-facing camera, and an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. The Argon, they've missed out an N. The Argon is meant to be coming out in October with a 5.5-inch Quad HD display. I assume that's OLED. Snapdragon 820, 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, 3,000 mAh battery with quick charge 3.0, fingerprint scanner, and a 21 megapixel rear-facing camera and an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. Damn. And lastly, we have the Mercury, which from the photos up there, or next to me, I guess, look to be a new version of the Q10 or the Classic or the.
It looks like the Q10 with a keyboard.
Huh?
Mm.
I said it appears. I might be getting them modelled up, but it appears to look like the.
It looks like a Q10 with a 16:9 screen.
Mm.
The Q10 had a 1:1, a square screen. It was 720 by 720. So the Mercury is meant to have a 4.5-inch HD screen, so 720p, Snapdragon 625, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, 3,410 mAh battery, 18 megapixel rear-facing camera, and an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. I kind of want one of each, or at least I want to review all of them.
Kind of. To be honest, the one I'm more interested in is the last one. It's the one with the physical keyboard, because otherwise I just think BlackBerry with no physical keyboard, it's like, why would I buy that when Samsung still make phones?
Yeah, I mean, if the one above it is also the Mercury, the last one, if that is the Mercury, it looks sick. It looks like an iPhone 6s with a permanent BlackBerry keyboard on the bottom running Android, which I'm cool with.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I never.
I mean, I think kind of in the two different photos that we have, the devices to me look really very, very different.
Oh yeah,
So
I think the bottom one is an early render, and I think that
perhaps,
the
yeah.
one above it is the one that's closer to release. Because
Eh.
in that bottom one on the right, the top half looks a lot like the Porsche design Blackberries, which I think that licensing deal has run out. I don't think they're allowed to do any more Porsche design Blackberries. Plus, for me, it's big battery, 3400 milliamp hours.
Yeah.
4.5-inch screen, so a normal size screen despite having a big ass keyboard. Also, the Snapdragon 625. It's still 8 Cortex A53s, which I'm not too thrilled about, but it's
It
14
should be
nanometers.
fast enough.
Huh?
I mean, it should be fast enough. It should be. It should, unless there's something really wrong, that should perform fine.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, because it's on a new process node, it's not 28 nanometer, the 625 is 14. It's also got a new GPU and a new image signal processor and the new Hexagon DSP. The Snapdragon 625 is pretty much in every single way, shape, and form better than the 615, 616, and 617. Like every possible way, the 625 is faster.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And plus, it gets a physical keyboard, which I really didn't want to send my proof back. I really liked it, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy a Mercury.
You were like a white girl from whatever year it was.
Oh, I'm pretty much a white girl at Starbucks. Like I can't even. But yeah, no, I really didn't want to send it back, and now I'm looking at these, especially that second from last image, and I really want it. Does anyone else have anything to say?
No, kind of. I want to see the last one as well. Yeah. Same reasons. I kind of look at that and think, only a 720p screen, but on a 4.5-inch display, that's absolutely fine. It's easily good enough.
I'm super blind, so like I can do 720p at 5 inches.
Oh, well, a 4.5 I think is absolutely fine with a real keyboard. It's been a long time since I've used a real keyboard, and I still kind of miss them. And the fact that it's got that screen with quite a big battery.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the battery life on that phone should be really good compared with pretty much everything else mainstream.
Yeah.
I'd still be slightly skeptical. BlackBerry put like a 3400 milliamp hour battery in the Priv, but it had a high resolution screen, and it also had an 808, but it still struggled to get through a day sometimes. So I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic. But if they do with the keyboard what they did on the Priv and the Passport, which is make it touch sensitive to like scroll through stuff, that is super hard to go back from. It sounds utterly stupid. Like it seems like the most stupid thing in the world. Why would I want to do that? Until you try and go back to a phone without it. And then it did take me about a week or so to properly readjust.
I tell you what would be cool to see again from BlackBerry. I don't think it'll ever come back to market. But does anybody remember on the bold and the curve lines, the little scroll? I won't call it a scroll wheel. The scroll button in the middle. It was your main way. The touchpad, yeah. I do kind of miss that.
I mean, we had those on Android for a little while, but they're just kind of useless.
On Android, they were useless because of the way Android was, because it was Android. But on BlackBerry, they seemed to nail it.
Yeah, because they could control every part of the operating system.
Yeah, they nailed it.
Android actually works really quite well with a mouse. It's really hard to put the touchpad in and not have it act like a mouse.
Yes.
On a small screen, that is actually quite difficult.
Do you remember on a HTC Wildfire? Was it the Wildfire or the S? No, just as a Wildfire.
The Wildfire S, the Desire, and the Legend all had them.
I don't think the S did. I think it was the original Wildfire. Or the Nexus 1, as Mark is clearly demonstrating.
No, that's a physical trackball.
Yeah, but that was so good because it also glowed.
Yeah, it was cool.
The notifications. I mean, that was Yeah, to be honest, that's something I would not mind seeing come back to phones. I mean, I don't think there's a great need. I just,
It's
if it
cool.
came back, it would be nice. Yeah.
That's the thing I liked. I'll
It
admit.
was the fact that it was because it was the ball and it was raised.
Yeah.
It was a much more noticeable
It's
notification.
quite the ball was quite tactile as well until you got it gunked up. But no, I'll tell you it's very good. It's the new Huawei phones with fingerprint scanners, especially the ones that have them on the back. They have some sort of gesture control on them. So if you hold it like that on the back,
God, no.
The notification shade.
No, that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
It actually isn't.
No, that bugged the shit out of me because I kept accidentally going back, and it just I had to turn it off.
To each their own, then. To each their own.
I will say.
To be honest, I think it's just that it's too small. If it was a much bigger area, then I think it would be kind of much more usable. But I basically would hit it by accident, and it was never big enough to be actually good enough to be useful to me. So the only time I ever did anything with it was when I accidentally hit it. So, yeah.
I will say with the wildfire, it used to, if anyone's ever tried using Android with arrow keys, that's basically how it responds, which I didn't like. But to have it as an actual mouse, now that would be better. I'm going to say I've got that little Android box from China, and I use, God knows where I put it, but if anybody knows the little keyboards with the little trackpads in the middle.
Yeah, I kind of hate those things.
Yeah, I've used one of them, and it actually gets the job done, as opposed to a D-pad on the box standard remote that it comes with.
Like I said, a unicycle gets the job done, but I wouldn't want a 100-mile ride to London on a unicycle. A properly designed 10-foot UI shouldn't need a mouse and keyboard.
Oh no.
The 5-way D-pad should be fine for a properly done UI.
I
know Android has not yet mastered.
Actually, no. Proper Android TV, I'd argue has. Personally,
yes, proper Android TV.
I'd argue that proper Android TV is.
It's doing it right, but this is basically stock, near enough, Android on a box that thinks it's a tablet.
Yeah, so like I said, that's not properly.
It's not properly optimized, which is where the keyboard and mouse trackpad combo
so
thing works brilliantly.
If the company that did it actually put time and effort into modifying the operating system to again make it a useful 10-foot user interface, you might be able to get away with using the 5-way D-pad and only have to use the keyboard when you're logging into stuff.
But I like it like that, and that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the point of Android. You get to pick and choose.
I like it because if let's say you've got any app you want, any app that's in the Play Store, you just got it. There's
apart from the ones that force portrait, which on a TV isn't great.
That bit's not.
And also the ones that think it's on a phone or a tablet, so it has the worst information density known to man.
Or the ones that will not remove the goddamn software fucking buttons from the screen. It's my 40-inch TV does not need the software buttons on there.
That's one thing that doesn't have. It doesn't have the on-screen buttons. So
a lot of the Android ones, the TV ones, don't.
No, so you have to use the right click to act as a back button, which works fairly well, and couple it with Action Launcher and program in the shortcut for dragging up whilst holding the button in for multitasking. There, you just close your apps off.
So, speaking of kind of convoluted computer stuff, it's not.
And TVs.
It's only the only segue I could really think of. Google has finally added cast support directly into the beta version of Chrome. You no longer need the extension, which is good because for whatever reason, on both my Chromebook and my Windows PC, the Chrome extension for Chromecast seems to just bug out all the time.
Really?
Built directly into Chrome is a lot more. If you don't use a Chromecast, it doesn't mean anything to you. But I use my Chromecast literally every day.
That's one thing I don't regret getting rid of.
Yeah, my sister got rid of hers and she doesn't miss it at all. I took the one out of my bedroom to put in the office, and within 2 days it was back in my room.
I don't miss it one bit. Obviously, that it's kind of been replaced with that Android box. And the problem I had with it, and I don't, Google could have probably done some settings in the option, but it was the way it adjusted itself. It wouldn't get everything in frame. It would blow it out. So you'd be watching a video.
The overscan on your TV was meant the image thought it was bigger than what it was actually able to present.
Yeah, and that's the thing I like about this little Android box is as soon as you boot it up, I know it's got some shitty overlay on it, but as soon as you boot it up, that's your first stop. The first thing you have to do is set it. And it would have been nice if Google had found a way, I don't think it would have been hard, to bake it into the app.
Is it an old TV, Chris?
This one, probably.
Is it like coming up to like 10 years old?
I actually can't remember. All I know is it does 720p max.
Yes, and I can tell you exactly why, because no TV is exactly 720p. It's 1366 by 768. So it's trying to adjust to the right size, but it doesn't know what that exact size is. So it tries to fill out that, but that's not what it's being told to.
Yeah, the way Google marketed the original Chromecast was it would make your dumb TV.
Smart.
So when someone says dumb TV to me, that means cheap. If you say dumb TV, I'm thinking cheap TV, and you want to make it a smart TV.
To me, a dumb TV is just something that doesn't have apps.
Right. Yeah, dumb TV doesn't do Netflix. Smart TV does Netflix. That's the difference.
See, to me, I did classify dumb as in it has no app market of any sort.
Yeah.
And old.
No.
Not old.
I wouldn't say just because it's old, because again, I've got a small like 19-inch Technica TV in my kitchen that I have my original Chromecasts on, and it runs fine. It doesn't have HDMI CEC, so I can't control anything. I have to use it on the phone, but otherwise it.
I mean, that was my only gripe with the Chromecast.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they could have done some overscan correction like in the app itself, but that would have been such a faff to try and like hit the up and down arrows and then line it up.
Yeah, it's not an issue that's really worth fixing. To be honest, it's not Google's problem.
It's the TV manufacturer's problem, because they're supposed to provide you ample overscan control in the TV.
I would have said,
which I know that they don't, because that TV in the fucking kitchen doesn't have it.
Well, to be honest, they pretty much the way they look at it is, yeah, we've sold you it, so you can fuck off now.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I wouldn't want it. This doesn't work by like manually lining it up exact. It just has zoom in and zoom out. That's all.
That's horrible.
But it works. That's the thing. I can get it to fit virtually perfect with a minor discrepancy that you don't see.
Chris, I can get to London on the unicycle. It's just not a great experience. I kind of want to buy one of those like electric unicycles, like self-balancing unicycles now, just to see like how far I can make it before I just say like fuck this.
Let me guess, but the bank account says no.
Oh god, my bank account is in negative at the moment.
Oh wow. I think mine's positive just. I think mine's got a couple of quid in it.
Like bills, I hate bills. The first like week of the month is the worst, because all the bills I have are scheduled to come out at the beginning of the month.
I'm quite fortunate in I get paid towards the end of the month, and everything gets brought out at the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
So I get paid at the end of one month, and then it kind of just starts pulling out less than a week later.
Oh well, I've got like another week or two till I get paid. So, speaking of pay, someone is going to get a nice big payout, because I'm assuming someone definitely correctly guessed this. Google has revealed the new name of Android N, and it is not Nutella, which makes me kind of upset. I kind of understand why. I assume they just couldn't get the licensing deal done the way either they or the people that own Nutella wanted. But from what I hope they learn from their mistakes here and start talking to the people that make Oreo about O. If O is not Oreo, then I have no.
I can't think of anything else that would work for O.
I'm gonna say opal fruits.
Don't you fucking dare, Mark. They'll do like some old granny boiled sweets as well.
I tell you what I don't like, and it's the statue.
Yeah, no, the statue.
Nougat-y, I hate the statue.
It's just Andy the android standing on 2 nougat bars.
3 nougat bars.
Yeah, is it nougat or nougat?
I think over here we pronounce it nugget.
I would not like that. I'm gonna go with nougat. I think it sounds better that way. But I could be wrong. And tell me in the comments below, or tweet me. I'm at mobile_dom. If you think I'm saying nougat.
Hang on. There's a how to pronounce it.
Oh well, there you go.
Nugget. It's how it is actually pronounced. Nugget.
Bullshit. Is it nugget?
Nugget. It is. Go to the link that you put in, scroll down to the bottom, and take a listen. It is from Oxford Dictionary, so it is a proper.
That sounds wrong, man.
Well, I could tell you what the pronunciation is, but to be honest, I really don't give a shit. I mean, how many phones right now have fucking marshmallow on them? And this is the next one coming out, and it's like, well.
Yeah, I'm still gonna carry on with nougat. So, I just realised I missed out an entire one here. My bad. I believe we also know it's Android 7.0.
Yes.
So Android 7.0, nougat. I don't want to get too excited again because I know I'm probably not going to see it for a while. Like, I don't own a Nexus currently. I don't think the Motorola phones I have are going to get it. Or if they do, it's going to be a while. My OnePlus X doesn't even have Marshmallow yet, so I highly doubt it's going to get nougat.
Yeah, if you want this, you're the way
to
is
a 6 or a 6P.
No, is to head to XDA.
Yeah.
And find a device that's popular. Like basically, if you give a shit about updates, that's how you pick your phone. Yeah, you go to XDA, you see what lots of other people are buying, and you buy one of them.
Speaking of nougat, now that nougat, oh, for fuck's sake,
You just said it, Nugget.
Yeah, now that nougat is near, the Asus Zenfone Zoom and the Zenfone Selfie are getting their Marshmallow updates because fuck the consumer. That's why. But hey, it's getting an update. They've been stuck on 5.0.2 for this entire time, which sucks. It was like,
well, at least they're getting it.
Yeah, like my Idol 3s were stuck on 502 for ages, and they recently got the 601 update. So yeah, like, good on Asus for finally pushing it out. But I don't think they're going to get past Marshmallow.
I doubt it. I don't think any phones currently are going to get, besides the Nexus line, are going to get past Marshmallow. Possibly the S7.
I think the S6 will get past Marshmallow.
I think
the S6 is powerful enough. I don't.
Yeah.
I have a
That's
really
not
hard
the
time.
issue, though.
No, that's
yeah,
the
but no,
thing.
the S6 sold relatively well for Samsung. I still think like the S6 was like a reboot for Samsung, and I think they want to kind of keep their goodwill for a bit. So yeah, I think the S6 will get nougat. If it doesn't, I'd be so surprised.
Yeah, I kind of would think it should get it. It's kind of within that 2-year envelope. So I would hope it would get it. I wouldn't hold my breath on the issue.
I mean, my only real problem is pretty much every Qualcomm chip last year had some issue. Some had more than others. and I have a horrible feeling manufacturers are going to use the downfalls of those chips as a reason as to why they're not updating their phones. So if you've got like an 808 or an 810 or a 615 or something like that in your phone, and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't think it was a good enough experience to do that," and I'm like, well, fuck, but I actually understand after I've used a device with all of them.
When was the last time a company used that as the reason why they weren't doing an update?
I've heard loads of reasons. I think the S4, because they said that it wouldn't give a suitable experience.
Because usually when companies do
Because
anything of this,
The
they
Snapdragon 600 was too old, and they would just say it wouldn't provide a good enough experience.
yeah, but normally when companies, they don't talk about devices that they're not updating, they just ignore them and pretend that they don't exist anymore.
Until
So they never
call out
normally
on it.
specify we're not doing this because they just never mention it.
But no, if you do hang around in like XDA and stuff, which I try and do less these days because I actually, strangely, I like my sanity. Like they do have stuff where they call out companies and developers and stuff and try and get answers. And a lot of the time, the answer is, we didn't think it would give you a good experience, so we didn't let you. It's like why there's like some what's it called? Some phones can't do the YouTube background listening thing, which is super weird. Yeah. So the only way I can kind of tie this into that is talking of background listening. Do you remember when you can say "Hey Siri" to your phone? No one answers because no one has an iPhone capable of doing that. I don't think. Mark, can your iPhone do it?
I don't, well, not at the moment because the battery died some days ago.
And you've not
Yeah.
brought it back to life.
No, the only thing I ever use that piece of shit for is if I'm reviewing something that has a headset, and I will plug something into it for a good 10 seconds to see that basically the controls all work.
I wouldn't mind.
iPhones are crap.
I want to give I gave the iPad Air a shot. And the
Oh,
one
look, Apple make really nice hardware. Like the hardware of the iPhone is absolutely fine. No problems with that at all. Even though it's an older one, it's an iPhone 5. It's just their software is just so mind-numbingly dumbed down and restricted.
yeah.
It
It's
just
why I really like
makes me want to like headbutt a wall.
why I really like the Nokia N1. It was an Android tablet that was like aesthetically a clone of the iPad Mini, or the Retina iPad Mini, and it ran Lollipop. And I was like,
I had
I want
USB-C
that.
on it as well.
Huh?
It had USB-C on it as well.
Yeah. And I was like, I'd be fine with that. I don't hate the hardware design of the iPad Mini.
I love
Apple make
Apple's
nice hardware.
designs.
Apple make nice hardware. Their hardware, all of it, is nice. Although their iMacs are just, God, you should never buy them because, oh my God, they get so meltingly hot.
Yeah,
But
one of my cousins who is one of those posh people that lives in Islington, he bought a 5K iMac, one of the first ones, and he had it for about 6 months before it got so hot that he started getting like burning from behind the screen on the LCD.
Yeah, the top of them right in the middle. Oh
Yeah.
my God, do they get so hot? And it's not just like, it's not you touch it and think, that's a little bit warm.
No,
It's
you can
like,
feel
oh
the
my
heat
God,
radiate.
that's gonna fucking burn my hand if I leave it there.
But no, it's like they also have the microphone facing backwards. The microphone isn't on the front. The microphone is on the curve at the back.
They're just, there's so many retarded things.
A
Like, to be
lot
honest,
of the time,
they
they're
look
placed with
pretty,
a wall
but
behind
anybody
them.
who buys them just like needs a fucking smack.
So
I do like the designs of Apple products.
Yeah,
That's
they
what-
look great. I mean, and apart from the iMacs, all their stuff is generally really quite nicely engineered and well made. But their software is just,
I think me and
it's
Dom
like
said,
moving to Teletubby land. It's just.
I think me and Dom spoke about this one podcast when you were here, but we were saying how we both liked the look of the MacBook or the MacBook Retina, the one with the Type-C port, and we both agreed on how stupidly expensive it was. And Dom came up with a very smart suggestion of making it somebody making a Chromebook knockoff of it.
Like, I'd be totally fine with that. I'd be like, Asus have just made the ZenBook 3, which is a Windows clone of the MacBook.
Mhm.
But they went even further. They designed like a new type of super thin fan so they could put a Core i7 in there. Like I'd be
I
cool if they
don't
left the
get.
Core M in there and then just like made a Chromebook.
I don't get why companies put i7s in a
Yeah.
flaming thin laptop. Stick an i5 in there, yes.
No, even
Well,
that,
the thing
I'd
is,
like
they
stick like
need.
a fucking Celeron.
Well, an
They
i3 at
have
a
they
minimum.
have three SKUs on they have three main SKUs on the desktop, and people know 3 is the lowest performing, 5 is the middle performing, and 7 is the highest. So on the mobile side, people know that a Core i7 in their laptop is going to be faster than a Core i5, even
Yes.
if in actuality it's still a dual
This-
core hyper-threaded part. It may be 200 megahertz faster. That is about it. It's
Yeah, I don't know. I just think kind of in that segment, I would much rather
It's
if somebody
useless.
goes with something. You know, the whole idea I think of the ultra thin and light laptops is that these should be low power devices.
Yeah.
I would rather see a reasonable Celeron because they are fast enough for pretty much everything you're going to do on a tiny little laptop. And no fans, use the damn exterior of the machine as a heatsink. That's what I would rather see.
Yeah.
Um,
So, getting back to the original topic, in iOS 10, shouting "Hey Siri" won't turn on every phone. Like if you shout "Hey Google" or sorry, "OK Google" or "Hey Cortana," that turns on everything. Um, "Hey Siri" in iOS 10 will only activate the device that's closest to you, which is actually
Oh, the
kind
only
of
one
genius.
closest to you, or do they communicate with each other and work out which one's closest?
I don't know, but the
I mean, I'd
video.
assume whichever one has the microphone that like needs the least amplification to get it. I don't know. I don't know how
Yeah,
it
but
works.
I mean that seems as though they are in some way all instantly communicating with each other to
I
see
sup-
which one is the one that's nearest.
The way the video that's embedded on Pocket Now shows is that it picked the iPad, both pick it up, and the iPad does the full Siri, while the iPhone kind of pulls the Siri background up and then just shuts it off again.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is a beta, so that is likely to change. But it does. It's kind of one of those like, well, that makes sense, type things. Again, if you're like me and there are literally 5 phones on your desk and a computer that is and a Chromebook that's set up for
Yeah, but people
if I
that
shut
use
that, my entire desk moves about 5 foot from like just the vibration.
You know the solution, don't you? Turn the vibration off.
No, man, I like the vibration on my phone. It means if I'm typing, I don't actually have to look at it.
Uh,
I know loads of people that turn haptic feedback off on their keyboard, and I'm like, but like I need it on because then I can type and not look.
and
That's
that's
one
where
of the reasons I
mistakes
love the
happen.
Priv so much. Anyway, that is the news.
yeah, nothing very exciting basically.
No, apart from the Android N name, there's not really much.
It was a shit name. It's not exciting.
I mean,
think
no,
I
it's not
said that.
exciting, but I'm saying we know the name of Android for this year, which is kind of big news.
Yeah.
I said that because I did the write-up on that, and I went, let's wait for the next one. That was the end paragraph. Let's wait for the next one.
Yeah. So, upcoming posts.
In order.
Oh, in order? Okay, then, Chris, you go first.
Okay, so I quickly logged in and checked these. So we've got this is as of tomorrow. We have the Natural Raise Outdoor Bluetooth speaker.
Is that Craig?
I assume that's a Cray product.
Not
And
mine. So
And we have the Chipolo.
The Chipolo tracker, which is coming from one of our new guys, which is Connor.
Yeah,
it's
so I
like one of
saw
those
that
little
and I
Bluetooth-
thought,
believe it's one of those little Bluetooth trackers you stick on your keys.
yeah, I saw that and I thought it was his, but I can't remember where I saw it. I'm sure there's another one coming out. No, there's not. Oh, yes, there is. The Kosox laptop sleeve. It's spelled Kosox.
Cossack.
Kozox.
I don't know.
I think again that's possibly a Craig, but I don't want to.
Thing a laptop sleeve.
Yeah, that's all I've seen on the dashboard.
At some point this week, I think Thursday, the Oppo F1 Plus review is finally going live after I've been teasing it for like 2 weeks. I'm putting a first impressions of the Wiley Fox Spark up there.
I thought you already did that.
No, I did a hands-on.
Oh.
I did a hands-on from the event, and now I've spent like a week with it, which is weird. Like I was saying before we started, I ordered a micro SD card from Samsung off of Amazon. I did a 32 gigabyte UHS one, which is the ultra high speed class 1 card, which I think has higher quality flash cells in it than the actual internal storage in the phone. Because using it in the phone as adoptable storage, the phone is faster than on its own.
And how much did the card cost?
About a tenner. So in actuality, that makes this a £100 phone, and more often than not, you can get the Wiley Fox Swift for £100, which is way better.
I got the, where did I put it? I don't know when. This is going to be some point next week, but I have the Xperia X. I know Mark was a bit jealous when I turned around and said I got it.
Yeah, Sony's been making some nice things.
It is unbelievably nice.
Yeah, they do know how to make a nice thing.
Yes.
And they seem to have learned. I don't know what the X is like, but they seem to have learned when it comes to software and dicking around with the UI, less is more.
Yes, I mean, I've slapped Talkin Launcher on this as always, but I did have a brief play with the stock launcher, and it wasn't that bad.
It was about the Z3 time when they kind of realised that less is more, I'd say.
Yeah, and it works. I mean, when I was doing the Z3 and the Z5, I didn't bother to install Nova. That's like how easy it was and fine it was to use. I did not feel like so compelled that I had to install Nova on it. It was just fine, works, just good.
There's
right,
two.
So Chris has the.
I've got two gripes with the phone.
Save those for your review.
I was going to say one was the screen is too small. I hate small screens.
It's 5 inches. That's not a small screen.
It's small. And the other, what was the other one? I forgot. Oh, the bands. Compared to the 6P, as soon as I put the 3 SIM card in it, my signal went. But once I put the Vodafone SIM card in the 6P, the signal just went up.
Yeah.
That's the only two grudges. Oh, and the price is overpriced.
Right, save the rest of it for your review before you give the entire fucking thing away. Mark, what have you got posting this week?
This week, I think the Z5 should be going up this week. These should be going up. This is the Mi's 99 Classics.
Oh, they're the one.
Cool.
So these are the giveaway things that we were doing. So I actually kind of need to, like, the review is basically written. I just haven't done the photos and shit because, as you know, I love photos.
I was surprised at, Mark.
What?
You know, you put in Slack £1 billion for anyone that could come and do the video, take a load of pictures.
Yeah.
I put that on Twitter and I got no responses.
Yeah, well.
Which proves no one just wants to go to Scotland, that's it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, well, the way the weather's been today, sorry, there was also other shit. I have these from Blue Audio, I don't know how you
I think it's meant to be Bluedio, but it's almost like it should be Blue Audio.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that, but whatever that is.
I say Bluedio. It's not. They're trying to combine blue and audio. into one word.
But it just sounds.
It sounds cheap Chinese. I'll put it that way.
Although these are not cheap. I mean, they're not like super expensive. I think they're like 130 or something. So there's those. These might maybe happen this week, but
they are the
Archer things.
They kind of look interesting.
I still think that brand looks like the Arcos branding.
I like very much physically the look of these things. They look.
I do like the look. I tell you what they remind me of.
And they're pretty cheap.
They remind me of the August ones that Craig brought.
August,
yeah. They are. I think they're only like 30 quid.
Yeah, they're not far off that. I think they're like $50, whatever that works now as.
Yeah, I did like the design of them.
Yeah. Oh no, they look good. Other thing that this will be going up at some point this week, from J&L Real. Random Chinese company with bizarre name. A little Bluetooth speaker that doubles as like a speakerphone, and it's also has, I don't know if you can quite tell, it has a rubber enclosure, so the outside is waterproof. So it is shower and rain resistant. It's rated IPX5. So it's kind of
splash-proof.
Yeah, you should be able to like have it in the shower and it should survive.
Are you going to test that?
No.
That's a lie. We know he tests all this stuff that way. You have a big one, don't you, Mark?
Yeah, well, because I got it and I actually thought it was really, really impressive. 15 quid, so it's a dirt cheap little thing, and it can get quite loud, and when you make it go really loud, it literally will vibrate itself across your desk. So I thought, right, well, if that's what this little one can do, it has a bigger brother. So essentially, I think it's like two of these kind of slapped in. Although this has no rubber coating, this has what I think is aluminium, so it's actually quite pretty. And that just came today. Kind of. If you added like a number to the price of this, it probably would be something like Apple would do.
You mean slap a note on the end?
No, because that would be going silly. I was thinking maybe add a 1 in front. Because it's like, I think it's about 35.
That looks very impressive for £35.
Yeah. This literally only came today, so I haven't done anything with it apart from stick it onto charge. But I'm very optimistic as to how fun I think this could be, and particularly how I think it will be really, really, really good as a speakerphone.
I don't get why people use Bluetooth speakers as speakerphones.
Neither do I.
Because you can sit them on your desk and you can just speak, whilst you can actually have your hands free and type. And
a lot of the time, though, these speakers don't have microphones in them. So you're still limited from where you're
yeah, these do. So.
I've got a Technica, so if anyone doesn't know, Technica is the Tesco electronics brand. I've got a Bluetooth speaker from them, brought it a couple of years back. That has a microphone in it. One of the first things I did was disabled it. And the same with the EC buds. If I can get my fat fingers out of the way. These have got a microphone in them, and they are at the bottom of one of the. It's at the bottom of an ear cup, well, a bud, and I disabled it just because it is so damn annoying and I won't say unusable.
Oh no, on like Bluetooth earbuds, I leave it on because it's usually right near my ear/mouth, so it's fine. On Bluetooth speakers, I think it's absolutely pointless. So, before we get into any other weeds here...
Yeah, sorry, and can I just also say, these things, I may not get around to everything, but these might go up, because I've been playing with these much today, and these are fantastic and stunning and awesome. And also, I've been playing around with these recently, and they're pretty good.
Cool.
Not as good as these, but, you know, these are still pretty good.
So, Chris, you want to quickly speak about the Road Warrior bundle?
Yes, so we've got yet again. Oh, I hate it when I do that press wrong thing. So we've got yet again another giveaway for you.
We do. Oh, and that reminds me. Sorry to interrupt, but I reviewed a couple of things the other week. Items from Jess Bod. If anyone remembers the QY11 and QY13s, which I think I might actually have to hand.
I like how Mark has a rough idea of where everything is in this mess of stuff.
Here.
These items. Jess Bod have kindly agreed to send us a pair each of those new, fresh, in a box for us to give away. So that should be coming in a giveaway in the coming weeks. So look out for those.
Awesome. So Chris, quickly tell us about the bundle so I can go for a piss and then eat some food.
Okay, so we have a bundle going up of, I want to say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 or 9 items. So we've got the IEC Technology 5,200 milliamp hour battery, the Vista Mercury Series 5,000 milliamp hour battery, the X-Doria Defense Shield for iPhone 6, 6S, the Alexa Boomstick Bluetooth speaker, the
Boomstick sounds like something completely different, but carry on.
Broom Brick, I should have said. The Ram POW nylon braided micro USB cable, that's a 2-pack. The Ram POW nylon braided lightning cable, this is my favourite thing I think I've seen. The Ram POW rose gold lightning cable.
For fuck's sake. I'm done.
And the Locust Series selfie stick. That's 90 quid's worth of stuff there, and it's through Gleam.io as always. I think it runs out in a week or 10 days.
So, go get your hands on the Gleam.io link. Try and get your hands on it. You never know, you might win. Unfortunately, none of us are allowed to enter because, as you can hear, I totally want a rose gold.
I mean, the box. It's not that it's rose gold. What is this kind of? It's not because I want rose gold because it's rose gold. I just think it's kind of different, and I like.
Kind of. I think if you had a rose, if you're the sort of person that has bought a rose gold phone, then you need that.
Rose gold, but they're fucking pink. Rose gold is like a dark copper. It's an old lady gold. That's what rose gold is.
Old lady gold.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is Talking Tech, episode 30, Nougat-y goodness. Oh god, I'm so tired. You can get us on the website, which is www.mobiletechtalk.co.uk. I am at mobile_dom. Chris is at chriswallace959. Mark is at mark2410. And the site is at mttfeed. You can get us on Instagram. We are MobileTechTalk. You can get us on Facebook. We are MobileTechTalk UK. YouTube and Google+, please search for MobileTechTalk because they won't give us a fancy URL yet. And last but not least, our Patreon. Patreon.com/MobileTechTalk. If you give us some more money, we might be able to make better shit for you. Who knows? Oh my god, thank you guys for joining me again this week. This is where you thank me for hosting it and whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I thought.
Anyway, I don't know. There's
you...
just a whole general. I think everybody is just tired.
We're all pooped. Like I said, I'm gonna go for a piss. I'm gonna go eat. I'm probably even gonna finish my dinner. But I'm so tired. I'm so hungry. So, thank you for joining me, and I will speak to you guys in Slack, and I will speak to the rest of you lot next week. Goodbye.
Bye.